Former Saturday Night Live actors Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader were doing an interview to kind of promote their new movie coming out called The Skeleton Twins. And usually when they do these interviews, it's a nice opportunity for them to plug what they're doing, and they usually assume that the person interviewing them has a sense of what the movie is about, or better yet, has actually seen the movie. But that wasn't the case with this particular interview. It's a local news affiliate in Denver. Just watch how it goes down.
Like I said, in Toronto, it was the talk of the festival. Critics love it. It's a great film. Kristen, I am thinking on this program of doing the news completely full frontal, completely nude. Do you recommend that, and do you have advice for going nude?
Do I have advice for going nude?
In the film, you do it in the film.
Moisturize.
Not this film.
Movie. Not this movie.
That's a different movie.
This is Skeleton Twins, which is a drama that played at Sundance.
Yes.
And it has us in it, and it's a totally different movie.
This was great.
The movie you want to go see is called Skeleton Twins.
Skeleton Twins.
Kristen is fully clothed in it. I'm fully clothed in it. And it's
it is a drama. It is a comedy.
And it is a comedy. And it's a very sweet film. And
Chris has not seen it.
Chris has not seen it.
Wait, I thought there were Muppets. There's no Muppet.
All right, I think that, they handled that interview appropriately. They didn't seem like they got hurt over the fact that the reporter obviously didn't see the movie. But just to talk about the reporter a little bit, Chris, you can get it. Okay? It's all right that you're not good at your job. Give me a call. You're a hottie. Okay? I was like, whatever. Who cares about the Skeleton Twins? I want to see more of this Chris guy. Hell yeah, that is a good-looking reporter. Okay? I'm not mad at him. And apparently the actors aren't mad at him either. But that's my point. What's your point? Robby, let's start with you.
I think what better people to do this to than Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader? Because they, of course, they're the ones who are going to appreciate a goof up like that. They're not going to be like, hey, I worked really hard on this. And they weren't insulted. They were just like, yeah, you fucked up. And it was really funny.
I know. Erica, what do you think?
The only thing I could think about was what would have happened if that had been Kanye West.
Oh my God,
right?
that is
how
such a great
that could
point.
have gone wrong.
Yes.
So they were totally awesome about it.
Oh my, I want that to happen to Kanye West.
I kind of do too.
That would be an epic moment, okay? It would be so great. But one point that I do want to make about, reporters and what they do when it comes to interviewing someone who's written a book or has appeared in a movie is more often than not, they don't see the movie and they don't actually read the book. They rely on a producer to kind of brief them and give them a synopsis. And in this case, it seems like the producer didn't do his or her job appropriately, which sucks. And look, a lot of reporters don't have time to sit down and read every single book that they're gonna, need to know about for an interview. So that's really how it goes down behind the scenes. Here's a question for the story, though. What's the worst mistake that you've made on the job? Erica, I'm gonna start with you.
So when I lived in Washington, D.C., I used to work in politics, like hardcore policy. And I started off doing punditry on TV at the age of 22.
Wow.
Didn't really know what I was doing, but I was good on camera, and there were a couple issues that I was an expert on at 22. I also did know that you're kind of supposed to know about everything, or at least be able to pretend. Mm-hmm. I didn't. So right before my interview, which was about voting rights, something happened around the Iraq War, and they turned to me for foreign policy commentary.
Oh my.
I had no idea what I was talking about, and I didn't know how to say that. So I said something that was really stupid, really not how I feel, certainly not how my organization feels, and we got so much backlash online.
Oh no!
And you know how people on the internet are. They hated me.
Tear you apart.
Yeah. No, I got written about on a massive political blog, and it was pretty humiliating.
Yeah.
But my boss was awesome and so supportive.
Yeah, that teaches you character. It teaches you how to be better at your job. We all mess up, right? I certainly have, and I'm going to share my story in a minute. But first, Robby, you share yours.
Yeah, I don't actually mess up.
Never.
No, I make mistakes all the time, but I haven't made any ones that have had that sort of consequence. So I'm going to tell a quick little story about my friend.
About how great I am at my job and how I never fuck up.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what.
I don't want to hear that.
But what my favorite thing is when actors mess up on a live performance on stage. And there was one time we were doing a play at my high school, and one of the actors gave a cue line 8 pages too early. And the tech had no choice but to start the cue, and all of these things that were supposed to happen didn't happen. And so you see all of us on the stage go, and we all look at each other, and it's that, okay, we're gonna improv the next 20 minutes. and we're gonna have to figure out how to fit everything back into the story after it was supposed to happen. So that was really fun. In a kind of horrifying way.
Yeah, and it kind of shows how good you are as an actor if you can like deal with that, you know, like an unexpected thing and kind of be on your toes. I don't even know how people do improv. That scares the hell out of me. I've been to a few improv comedy shows and I'm like, wow, these people are crazy. But I mean, look, I wish I could say that my fuck-ups weren't that big of a deal, right? But when you work on a news show, when you do mess up, it has very serious ramifications. So one story that comes to mind was this story including this lesbian couple that needed to do in vitro fertilization. It's really, really expensive to do it. So they actually asked for a sperm donor on Craigslist or online. And this guy came up and he basically said, came up is a really interesting way of putting this. But anyway, this one guy offered his sperm for free. And so they used his sperm and they got pregnant. And then apparently they were in a red state that hasn't legalized same-sex marriage yet. So they get pregnant, they have the baby, and then they separate. And one of the mothers needs financial assistance, right? And so she goes to the government looking for some sort of government aid to help raise her baby. And they're like, well, who's the father? We haven't legalized same-sex marriage. What's going on? And then they had to name the actual biological father, and then the state went after him, right? When I originally reported that story, I thought that the couple went after him, not the state. And that's the way I reported it, and then we were extremely harsh on the lesbian couple. That was terrible, and I felt horrible about it. We got written up in some blogs, and people were like tearing us apart for getting it wrong. That was my mistake, and that was my bad, and I'm sorry, and of course we corrected it. But yeah, sometimes you get the facts wrong, and you have to come back and apologize for it. But I want to know about you guys. Have you ever had an epic mistake at work? What were the ramifications? How did you deal with it? Did it make you a better employee or did you get fired? And also, what do you think about that interview with Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader? How would you have handled it? And do you think that they handled it appropriately? Share your comments in the section below and we'll see you guys soon.